Let's dive into a powerful, really ancient story, one where a simple craving for food just completely spirals into a national crisis. Seriously, it's this dramatic tale of desire, desperation, and the absolutely terrifying consequences of getting exactly what you asked for.
And this is it. This is the cry that kicks the whole thing off. Just try to imagine an entire community, thousands of people, all wailing this at once, just desperate for something more. But, this kind of hunger, it didn't just appear out of thin air. It actually started with an earlier complaint, a warning sign that pretty much everyone ignored.
So yeah, before everyone became obsessed with meat, there was this other kind of grumbling going on. And this first incident, well, it served as a really dark omen for what was about to come down the line.
The text just says they complained about their hardships. It's kind of vague, right? But the response? Anything but vague. The Lord's anger is kindled, and fire literally sweeps through the edges of the camp. It's this swift, terrifying punishment for a complaint that we don't even get the details of.
This event was so traumatic that they basically etched the memory right into the landscape itself. They renamed the place Taberah, which literally means burning. It became this permanent physical reminder of what happens when you complain. Now, you'd think a warning that clear, a place forever named for divine fire, you'd think that would stick with people. But nope, it didn't.
Forgetting all about the fire of Taberah, the people's sort of general unhappiness starts to zero in on a new, all-consuming target: their food. And specifically, the fact that they had no meat.
What a dramatic line, right? I mean, manna was the miraculous food that was keeping them alive every single day in the desert. But what was once a miracle has now become this monotonous burden. It's a textbook case of what psychologists call hedonic adaptation. The extraordinary becomes ordinary, and all that gratitude just fades away into contempt. They are just completely, utterly sick of it.
So what are they missing so badly? Their memory is incredibly specific. You can almost taste it. They remember the exact menu from their time in Egypt. You can practically smell it, right? The fish, the fresh cucumbers and melons, those sharp flavors of leeks, onions, and garlic. This isn't just about being hungry. It's a powerful, detailed, all-consuming craving.
And this, right here, is the core of their complaint. They are trapped looking backwards, comparing this romanticized memory of variety and flavor with the dull, monotonous reality of manna. It's that huge gap between what they think they had and what they have now that's what's fueling all this rage.
So the constant wailing of hundreds of thousands of people, it just becomes this unbearable weight. And the story's focus now shifts to their leader, Moses, who is just being crushed by it all. He is being pushed to his absolute limit. Now this is Moses, and he's speaking directly to God. It's not a polite prayer, it's raw, it's desperate. He feels like he's been totally set up for failure, saddled with this responsibility he never even asked for and that he just cannot possibly handle.
And you see, the burden isn't just emotional. It's a logistical nightmare. I mean, think about it. He's in the middle of a desert. How could anyone possibly satisfy this massive demand? He's completely powerless, and he knows it.
And this is the moment he just completely breaks. The pressure is so immense, the despair is so deep, that Moses tells God that death would actually be a kinder fate than having to continue to lead these people. Just wow. An absolutely shocking confession of total burnout. God's response is kind of two-sided. First, to help Moses out, 70 elders are appointed to share the burden of leadership. But for the people's craving, his response isn't one of relief. Oh no. It is a dark and completely overwhelming promise.
He doesn't just promise them a single meal. He promises them meat for an entire month, 30 straight days. The sheer scale of this promise is meant to feel like way too much, and it immediately signals that this is not about simple nourishment. This is something else entirely.
And here's the terrifying catch. God promises to give them so much meat that it will become physically disgusting to them. The gift is explicitly designed to become a punishment. It's a direct consequence of their rejection and their ingratitude.
Moses, ever the pragmatist, hears this, and he's just completely baffled. You can almost see him doing the math in his head. Even if they slaughtered every single animal they owned, even if they somehow caught every fish in the entire sea, it wouldn't be enough. The promise just seems logistically impossible.
But the Lord's reply is this powerful, rhetorical question. It just slices right through all of Moses' practical concerns. The point isn't about resources or logistics, it's about divine power, and Moses is about to see that power unleashed in a big way.
And this is where the story takes its final tragic turn. The people are about to get everything they've been crying for, and that wish is about to become an absolute curse.
Suddenly, a wind starts up, but it's a supernatural force, and it begins driving flocks and flocks of quail in from the sea, directing them straight toward the camp. The impossible promise is actually starting to come true.
The sheer scale of this is just staggering. The quail pile up to 2 cubits deep. That's about 3 feet high. Can you imagine that? A blanket of birds 3 feet deep stretching for a day's walk in every single direction. This isn't abundance anymore. It's a grotesque, smothering plague of flesh.
The people, of course, are thrilled. They spend 2 full days and a night just gathering the quail, and then they begin to feast. The text paints this incredibly vivid picture of them taking that first, long-awaited bite. Their craving is finally being satisfied.
And in that exact instant, before they could even swallow, the punishment falls. A severe plague just rips through the camp. The satisfaction of their desire and the execution of their judgment happen in the very same moment.
And just like what happened to Taberah, the land itself becomes the tombstone for this lesson. The place gets a new grim name, Kibroth Hattahavah. It means graves of craving. They bury the people who died right there, forever marking the spot where this intense desire led directly to death.
And really, this is the question the story just leaves hanging in the air for us. It's a timeless warning about gratitude, about discontent, and about the hidden dangers of getting exactly what we think we want. It kind of forces us to look away from this ancient text and into our own lives. Our own desires for the next promotion, the latest phone, the perfect relationship, and to ask ourselves, what is the true cost of our craving?